Welcome back, guys. Um, I've been absent for a while, but I have been working on something off and on. Um, I called it Hard Raker. Um, there's the whole thing uses one motor to go backwards, adjustable here, and then another motor. These are, I believe, windshield wiper motors for cars, and this one um, rotates this arm which rake head is attached, so it just rakes while it's going backwards, and it's really tiring. I thought about this I don't know, a couple of months ago, um, on the grass when I had a uh, I guess some spot with the uh, fungus or whatever. I treated it, but whatever died, and I just raked it, and you know, to get to the bare soil, and air to soil to aerate a little bit. And generally, I'm having some thatch problems. Not so much thatch problem, but it's the soil, I believe, is does not have that much organic activity, like the microbial activity going on. That's why I'm doing the compost. That's why I'm trying to establish a good soil, at least like top 1 inches, so it kind of uh, does the rest of it itself as it's decomposing the you know dead grass and whatever leaves. So this will help me get rid of. I already used this. I made some changes, some adjustments for the belts. Okay, let's drive from the well, let's start from the rake part. It's just a hinge here to so we can tilt this backwards and forwards. The motor just turns one direction, and it rotates this uh, linearly, but in a circular motion, which I don't know if it makes sense. So it does the raking action that I want, and I can change the angle. Later on, I kind of file between these, so it's a continuous circle. So, because this itself, when it's straight, it has a 15-degree angle built in. So even if I put it flat, it still has 15 degrees, because like nobody rakes horizontally. I mean, yeah. So you usually do it standing up, and you have some angle. So that's why there's a built-in 15 degrees, and then first is 0 degrees, so makes it 15 degrees. Second one is 15, which makes it 30. This is 30, 45, and this is 45, which makes 60. I don't think 60 is, yeah, no, because this thing does not have enough ground clearance, and 60 degrees, it's just not gonna work. 45 doesn't even work all the way. So I filed these two, I believe, and I didn't, between them, so it's adjustable through here to here. And I should maybe file this one too, just for like uh, light raking. Anyway, so that is that part, and the front, now the drive part. Front wheel is just dummy, just rotates, so there's nothing to it. So the back, however, okay, let's this motor right here for the rake, it's 150 or 160 RPM, which the rotation speed, whatever speed is adjustable. So I usually use it 90% of the speed to get anywhere fast. So and drive this very slowly, perhaps like a half an inch per second, or up to an inch per second. And because of that, because I want to do that, I got This one under load is 40 RPMs, and I have two sets of pulleys. This is 15 tooth to 60, which is 41, and then that 60 is rotating coaxially, rotating this small one, which is 20 to 40. So 2 to 1 there. So 4 to 1, 2 to 1 is 8 to 1. So each rotation, each 8 rotation of this is 1 rotation of that. That's full speed, and it's adjustable. That's the dry one, that's the rake. So I usually crank the rake all the way up, does it really fast, and then drive is very slow, so it just thoroughly rakes it. And by the time I've done it, I have not made any videos this weekend because I had an issue. This is the old one, actually, old pulley. You see how this has the flange or whatever limiting the sides over here. This didn't have it. I ordered a new one that has it now, and because it didn't have it, and I, before designing all these, tensioning for this one, which it didn't originally, this kind of, and the, this bearings, all the purple ones are the ones that I got from somewhere. Well, of course, wheels too. I don't make wheels. There's no point. So putting the belt is painful, but since and I wanted kind of tight so it wouldn't slip, but it did slip, and this has no protection, no limits on the end, so it's just gonna slip this way, and I think it destroyed that belt. So I was waiting on that belt. Originally I was gonna make a video, which I did, a very short one. I sent it to a couple friends, but I'd redesigned it. I need to redraw this. This is not the correct one now. I have one with the flanges or whatever in this, and I did the tensioning mechanism here, so it goes down. Well, I have a bunch of stuff here, so it goes down to here, comes back up, and then this pushes using a screw here. Pushes, and then once I get it to a good tightness, then I screw the whole assembly, this, all that stuff kind of pushed against with because of the screw to this and that, so it kind of keeps it in place, tight belt. However, on the back one, I did a little differently. This actually pulls it, so the whole motor and the motor stand shaft and all that stuff, bearing, is in this carrier, which is pulled through. This is stationary, connected to that. When you screw it, this has threads, this doesn't. This is just a clearance hole. So when you thread this and tighten it, it pulls the whole assembly towards this way, which tightens the belt that goes around here. And again, let's get through this battery. And then again, you can just, when you're at the point that this belt is tight to your satisfaction, you just screw it down and hold it in there through this, and then this also, both of them are acting on it. It doesn't move. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. It runs on a lead acid battery. I think it would last about 4 or 5 hours. I can probably do most of the yard. During my testing, I already done my front yard, and I divided them differently, but I think in total I probably did like 2,500 square feet, and I would say total of 1.5 hours. So it would take 6 hours basically, because I got around 10,000 square feet yard. So yeah, this metal thing which I did not align them when I weld. This one is yeah, but it is for a cloth that I'm gonna put on. Well, I did already, and I stapled it around, so it doesn't look like something idiotic. Um, so in the next video, I mean, well, let's controls are simple. There's a like a store-bought whatever I bought from MPJA. It's a and I modeled in here all that stuff. It's a like a regular lead acid or lipo. Well, actually, I got it from Amazon. Anyway, which is battery meter, and there's a master on-off switch, and then once it's on, lights on, and then you twist this clockwise and starts braking, and you just twist the other one clockwise, it starts going backwards, and it only goes backwards. So, so both motors does only one direction, so I don't have to use a. Um, all I need is a half H bridge. So there's a chip for that. I've used it before. I actually designed a, and I've been using it for 3 years now. Uh, Remotely controlled broadcast spreader, and that one I just took Home Depot, whatever the Scott's small broadcast spreader, and converted to operate on a platform similar to this, but um, it can rotate. The front wheels are the drive wheels, and they each got a motor, so it's a differential steering. Uh, so, and I got big casters in the back, so they follow. At some point, I may put a video out on that one, but I've been using it, and it's been wonderful. Because my backyard is a little bit inclined, and even just small broadcast spreader, it would be son of a bitch to haul that thing around, and no. And that broadcast spreader has big enough hopper. I can put 150 pounds of like maybe organic, milorganite or whatever is low percentage of nutrients. So you got to use a lot of it. Each bag is, I believe, 32 pounds, and I need to use four. Guess what? It's already 128. Um, yeah. So anyway, but that one is made from power wheelchair motors, which you know are made to haul mostly fat ass people, 350 pounds or whatever. So yeah, putting 150 pounds of fertilizer, it's not even. It can on top of when I fill it and I get on it. That's how I almost broke my arm 2 years ago because it has a braking system, whatever. Anyway, um, yeah, it carries me. I'm over 200, so at 150, and I actually have additional weights because when you're using normally, uh, I don't know why I'm talking about broadcast spreader, but yeah, it looks similar to this. Same wheels basically, I think. I'm looking at it. I may have like 13-inch. These are 10-inch wheels. So anyway, so this also needs to be weighed down. I bought an anchor at some point, like from Walmart, and I am planning on putting it in here. It's like 20 pounds or 15 pounds. Because even the battery weights is not enough to get traction. I may lower the pressure on the tires because they're, pressurized correctly. But if you lower it, it's gonna have more friction. Well, it's gonna have more work for the motors, but I mean the way that it is 8-to-1 basically, it has good torque, so I don't have a problem. Neither of them. They've been working fantastic. But I just wanted to say something about this thing, this mechanism. It almost resembles the like a locomotive, whatever engines, um, wheel linkage, and they are inherently bad design. So is this, because motor turns this one, and this one is connected to it, and this is freewheeling, and there are bearings inside, and certain kind of bearings, they're all the same, and then it's driven by the motor in here. So immediately, I thought about this, and then immediately when I draw it, I was like, oh crap. You can see, and I can do maths and whatever, prove it. There's two quote unquote nulls, um, uh, undefined really. You kind of need to undefine the position, um, you know, uncertainty, basically, when they align, when uh, um, these are um, all the way, they are rotated this way, so they are in the same line. And I have weight in here, of course. That kind of alleviates but my point is, if this is here and that's there, that's one point. And when it comes back around, this becomes here and this becomes there. That's the second point of uncertainty. Like they could rotate in a weird, and you get it locked, and then yeah, motor would strip the crap out of these things, or it's plastic bearing actually, the worm gear. Anyway, to overcome that, which I did not bother to put in here, I welded um, at a certain angle a like, I don't know, 1.5 inch flat plate here, and then put a spring to connect here. So what that does, it does overcome the weight of the rake, and it helps with um, accelerating the motion when these arms are in those two uh, null points. It works, but even if it works, it's still inherently bad, because it has to be perfect for it to smoothly work, and there's no such thing. So it hops, it makes this periodic, of course, depending on speed, um, jumps, and of course rattles the whole thing. I'm thinking about maybe um, what I call it, tuned. I don't know. This skyscrapers have um, stabilization. Anti, like it dampens this the what you call vibration. Yeah, we'll see. But it's working. And oh, you would not believe. I mean, let's say 50 feet, maybe 50 feet stretch, and straight line, and the rake is 24-inch wide. I pulled so much dead debris, dead grass and some leaves. It was huge. So it took me, after I've done pretty much whole front yard, 2,500 square feet, I was able to pull off probably uh, more than little over 10 cubic feet of, not compressed, but as it is, this nasty grass, dead grass, and leaves, and so what if you leave that? What happens is, according to the information I read from the um, universities, um, that layer, my interpretation is that layer is going to do a couple things. One, it's going to hold in the moisture, which is a good thing, but for a moist and already humid place, it's bad because you don't want humid conditions on the surface. That that triggers the fungus. Another thing, if that level is, that dead grass thatch is thick enough or strong enough, then your fertilizer, your granular fertilizer will have a hard time getting into the soil. After I rake this, you could see the bare ground, like you can see actual earth when you look closely. There's no layer of dead grass, so it's gonna work. Uh, it will probably accelerate the fertilizer intake, as well as help with um, you know moist, keeping having air contact the soil more, so it dries and it will be less susceptible to fungus, which is always there. All you need is humidity and heat, or certain temperature for it to get activated and start screwing up your yard. And this is Florida, so humidity and heat is a fact of life. So anyway, so I've done this raking on a small part. The whole reason I've done this is it sucks. Just a little, probably like 20, 15, 20 square feet area took me a long time to, and not to mention the, you know, you know, energy and all that, repetitive motion. It's just, we're not meant to do these kind of stuff. At least I'm not used to it. So, and it's, doing the whole yard, it's just unbelievable. You'll be there a week. So this thing, you know, does it just like I do, and I just set it up and just goes backwards. I just need to go catch it, in time so I don't run into my cars and whatever. But other than that, I mean, it works wonderful. And when I have the video up, operating it, probably, I don't know, tomorrow, probably not. Maybe next weekend, because I need to work and finish a project at work. So, but it will be there. Or I'll upload a brief video with sarcasm, that I sent to my friends. So, but other than that, I'm very happy with this, and this is gonna help me a lot, so much. I was just aching just looking at it working, and a lot of people slowed down asking, like, "What is that?" I was like, I don't know. What does it look like? I mean, you see, there's some moving and dead grass coming out, and that thing on the tip is just like a rake. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. And some people, I don't know if it's a problem with them or just we live on the turn, slight turn. You know, there's something on the yard and someone's standing in there. They don't even look. Like, I don't care if they look or not. I'm just saying, I'm just observing the behavior. Like, I would notice it. I mean, the awareness is just not there. I was surprised, quite like maybe quarter of the people passed through and seen as I was testing this. A quarter of people, as they did not even notice. Or I don't think they see it and deliberately not look. I mean, it's not. normal either. So anyway, so yeah, it's not. I don't care. All I care is that the yard is getting raked real well, and I don't feel no pain or not wasting any time besides getting out there and set it up, and 20 minutes later come back and turn it around, go back the other way. Not quite 20 minutes, but um, problem is, like I said, this knocking behavior when it's working is destructive. So at least this thing, which I had to loosen up to make this knocking little less. Uh, this part is wearing out, even though I have some kind of rubber in here and loose, but there's rubber in there. It's still, yeah, and this is threaded, so I don't do threaded stuff on the SketchUp. It's just painful. I'm sure there's a extension for it or whatever. Yeah, there was some stuff anyway. So that's the whole deal, and you'll see a functioning. I will not put the cloth over it, so you will see that it is, except for the colors, exactly the same thing basically. Well, except for this thing looks a little different, but everything else. And I've done, besides these buttons and stuff, these are knurled. I made that. I made this. Of course, cut these, cut the wood, bought the battery, bought the pulleys, wheels, and 5/8 rod. And this is all thread. It didn't need to be, but I just didn't. I don't think I have 5/8 threading, so I can, thread this end and screw the, this thing in there. So I just bought an old thread. Of course, pillow blocks, I don't have it. I can make them, but what's the point? They were $15 for two. I mean, that's at some point you just, you can't waste time. And then I already do. And of course, bearings I bought, motors I bought, but the rest of it, assembly and the design, measuring what the pattern and how it needs to be, where it needs to be, where to dig, where to drill, tensioning mechanism, may look stupid, but it works wonderfully. And yeah, it's rock solid. Um, I just need to put more weight or lower the pressure in the tires to provide more friction to have it operate more smoothly. And it's just one, it actually goes off track because of either these are not aligned, these I'm just pointing at, either the wheels are not aligned correctly. Also, it's on a slight incline. We have big oak trees and they are kind of above, their trunk, and then around it, it's going down. So when it gets to the grass around the tree, it's on an incline sideways. So it causes it to, you know, go off track and stuff. I thought about maybe making it just like the broadcast spreader, put two motors, differentially steered, or what do they call it? Differential, uh, I don't know, differentially uh, steered, whatever. So I can actually remote control it or whatever, or even get even fancier. Bought an kind of expensive real-time kinematic thing that has a unit to put it on this device, and then a base station basically. Put it in a fixed location around the house, so it would provide location information within 2.5 centimeters, like an inch. That'd be, and then put geofence around it or whatever and then have it just go at it and put some sensors for sensing the trees and molds and blah blah. Just let it go and eventually, kind of like Roomba, I will finish doing it. Anyway, but nah, man. I mean, it's just too much. I just set it up and it just breaks it all the way across the yard and just turn it around, do it again. And I'll probably use it on the weekend. It's not like a weekday kind of thing. I can't be, getting off work every 20 minutes to go over there outside and yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah. Anyway, so you'll be seeing next video will be live demonstration, and also the circuit itself is not. I've used the processor. I didn't have to. All I'm using it for is just getting those two potentiometer inputs, and depending on where they at, it's all the way this end, all the way the other end. You know, full speed or stop. That's all it is. It's a pathetic reason to use a processor, but I was about like I just want this to work. I don't want to design all. I did. This is version 3, by the way. There's a reason it's version 3. Because the others is like, oh, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use a PWM generator, proper one, not this freaking 555 timer crap. No. One thing is that this is the Arduino. The chip is an same processor that is in Arduino. So ATmega 328P, and as an Arduino bootloader, I'm using digital 5 and 6, the pins. It's PWM frequency, which I use PWM to drive the drive motor and the rake motor independently. You know. So what the problem is, it's 1 kilohertz. So roughly 1 kilohertz, 960 or something hertz. Yeah, that's perfectly in the audible range, especially irritable audible range. But this thing is going backwards, and it's kind of like warning. It's like, if you run full speed, then yeah, it's basically DC, 100% duty cycle. It doesn't make noise, but as soon as you drop the speed down, it starts beeping because the frequency, is 1 kilohertz, which is resonating, I guess, the motor and all that stuff in an audible range. We hear whatever, I guess 200 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Well, not, I don't hear anything beyond 16, I guess, but other versions that I had, Raker, whatever, one or whatever, they had proper PWM, but it's just so much tiny circuitry, and I don't know. I did not feel like doing it at the time. So, but this perfectly fine because it's very straightforward. I use these little beefier version of these. These are Infineon BTN 8962. I use 8982 for the broadcast splitter, which is able to use much more current. Those power wheelchair motors have a lot more, uh, they use a lot more power. So, but these, windshield motors I use for this is just nothing really. So that's, yeah, it's a 4-layer board and blah blah. I didn't even bother to design it and put it in there. So there's heat sinks to it. If I highlight it, and there's here, which should be connected. This one, which I do with the flood and polygon, whatever. So there is these actually for the heat sink for this thing. It looks like I don't know. When you look at it from the side, it looks like two T's right next to each other. Looks like a wing, it's perforated, not perforated. There's venting holes in there. These don't even get warm because I think this 8962 is rated up to 30 amps. I mean, each of those motors probably at most like 5-6 amps max. And I'm not rake one. Yeah, I'm closing using it closer to 100% duty cycle. Not quite, but it's still really close. So it may be pulling 6 amps. But I checked it. The heatsink is not even warm. The drive motor, oh my god, it's driving so slowly. Not only full speed is about 5 RPM, I use it at about like 10% duty cycle, so it's very slow and makes annoying sound, both of them, because they are both driven by 1 kilohertz PWM signal. So yeah, next one, I mean, it's this is, I mean, stuff that I do it because I need it. I don't need it, but I would like to have it. It's making things a lot easier. And this is one of those things that I made, you know, out of many others. Uh, is just absolutely useful. I mean, it is just. Mm. I was so happy. I mean, I was just laughing while I was trying to pack the dead grass into, you know, trash, you know, trash bags. Oh my God. It's gonna be so good. It's good, you know, hopefully less fungus next year, and fertilizer will be actually getting in there. And of course, I'm doing the uh, compost, so I will, when I spread the compost will actually contact the soil as opposed to sandwich the dead grass between the soil and itself. We'll see. My plan is to make the grass very thick within a couple of years, so I wouldn't have any of these problems to, you know, chokes the weeds out and strong and, but we'll find out. Anyway, well, expect another video soon about this. So thank you guys for watching, and if you liked it, just press like button. If you didn't like it, show me, you know, what you did, and so we can talk about it and whatever. Uh, Otherwise, I'm out. It's getting late. I gotta wake up early in the morning. All right, you guys have a good week, and nice to see you. Bye.